I chose that name for a very specific reason. I truly believe that we can change the world through the quality of our listening. And when we bring a very profound listening to another human being, an almost sacred level of listening, which is why I choose the word devoted, that space that opens up is utterly transformational for people. As I know you can imagine, how many of us have ever had the moment where we felt lonely, unheard, unseen, unwitnessed? Give me a wave if you've ever had that moment. Yeah, many of us, right? When we can open up a space and really deeply listen to another human being, that in and of itself can be life-changing. So here are the steps that we teach our coaches to be able to do that. The first step is to revere. And again, there's that sacred, elevated word, because I want it to be an elevated quality of listening. You want to bring your full presence to the other person. So bring all of your energy, be fully present from a place of what we call loving kindness. So at One of Many, we talk about the 5 women's power types. I'm going to introduce them to you in detail after the break. But we're kind of already pre-teaching it here. It's the mother energy, that unconditionally loving, unconditionally accepting aspect of you. You don't have to be a biological mother to have that, but there is a part of you that can handle anything and still see the incredible human underneath it. It's that. So you have an open body and an open heart as you venture into this kind of listening. That's revering. The next step then is to receive. And receiving is when you bring your listening and deeply listen and hear what is being said and what is not being said with all of your senses. You listen not just with your ears, but also with your eyes, noticing shifts in body posture, changes in color and breathing, and also with your feeling, right? With how you feel about what's going on. So we call that lover energy. And it's the aspect of the lover archetype, which is in her senses. You know, it is the lover archetype that sees a beautiful rose for all of its color and its smell and the touch of it. So it's bringing that full sensory listening to another person, right? That's what we're talking about there. The other thing we're paying attention to as we're receiving is your own intuition, your own hunches, because we are far wiser and more deeply connected than we give ourselves credit to. So it's accessing that part. This is the archetype of sorceress. All of them we're going to come back to, and it'll make more sense later. Just write it down for now, and you can layer it in later. But you're listening to those own hunches inside. Then the third step is to respond. Now, when you're practicing devoted listening, responding sounds like, oh, That's it. Gentle sounds of affirmation without interruption. Most of us prove to other people that we're listening by doing what? How do we do it? Yeah, finishing their sentences. I saw someone just lip read it. That's it, right? We think we use it, yeah, and we finish each other's sentences to prove that we're listening. That is not devoted listening. That is friendship, and it's fine and it's great, but we want to bring a different quality. So we want to bring these gentle sounds of affirmation without interruption in there. And then we review, we summarize, and we ask clarifying questions about whatever they might have shared. So if someone has spoken for, 3 or 4 minutes about what is going on, then at the end, you might say to them, okay, thank you. What I heard you say was, and then you repeat back to them using some of their words and maybe some of your words, what you heard, and perhaps ask a clarifying question to further the conversation. Does this make sense to everybody? So they're the 4 steps to devoted listening. So what we're going to do just now is an exercise in a breakout room with one another. And it's really simple. You can't get this wrong. Don't use it as a reason to run away. If you can't go into the breakout room, just let us know. It's no problem. But because there's loads more to come. But I want everybody who can be engaged today to have a practice with this, because it is a really simple practice. So you're going to be in a breakout room with one or two other people. It'll be hard to predict, but we'll make sure you're not alone. So there's someone there. If you've got three, one of you should be the coach, one of you should be the coachee, and one of you should be the observer, right? If there's two of you, one will be the coach and one will be the person being coached. And the coach is just to ask a simple question like, what's brought you along to the session today, right? What's brought you along to the session today? Or what's your intention for today? It doesn't matter what it is. There's no right answer. It's just to give you the opportunity to speak it out to another living being. And then the coachee will share either the challenge or the opportunity that has had them come along. Be prepared to go deep. Allow yourself to go deep, right? This is a space, can we say this is a space of confidentiality? Anything that you share today stops with the person that you're sharing it with. And certainly, we have confidentiality around what is shared in our sessions. So be prepared to go deep. And coach, I want you just to practice this devoted listening. And towards the end of the session, so towards the end of the share, I want you to just reflect back what you heard. So we're going to do, this is only a very short exercise. We're going to do it for 3 minutes each way. So we'll do 2 ways, if that makes sense. So be coach and coachee and then swap over. If one person's the observer, make sure they get to have a chance at being the coach as well as being the observer. You're intelligent women, you can figure that out, right? But we're just going to go 2 directions. So we'll be in the breakout room for a little over 6 minutes. I will let you know when there's 1 minute before the first 3 minutes, so that the coach can start to think, okay, it's time to wrap up and reflect back what they heard, maybe ask a clarifying question. So you're going to start at about the 2 minute mark. You'll get a little message from me that says you have 1 more minute to go. And then coach, you'll wrap up over the next minute or so. Then we'll swap over and we'll have a go the other way. How does that sound? All okay? Perfect. Excellent. So what we're going to do is I'm going to stop the share here and I'm going to pop you into breakout rooms. Now, here's the important thing to know about the breakout rooms. I can see if you're in a room by yourself. So don't panic. If you're in a room by yourself, stay put for at least a minute or two. There we go. That should do it for at least a minute or two. And I can see on this little list here, and I'll move you to a room with somebody else if you happen to be by yourself. Does that make sense? And we won't start the clock for at least a minute to get everybody the opportunity to jump in. If you're not going in, that's fine. Thank you for those of you who have notified us, because it will make it easier for us to balance here at this end. But have fun with this. There's no right or wrong way. Just bring that deep and devoted listening to the person. So you should have an invitation now into a breakout room, and we will see you back here in around 7 or 8 minutes. Have fun. Have fun. All right. And meanwhile, back here at camp, we will sort out, make sure everybody's got some partners. I'm going to assume now, if you're not in a breakout room, that